Hey everybody, Wayne Will here with C&B Operations. In this installment of technology overview, we're going to go over the ExactApply nozzle bodies. We're going to start off on just your basic ExactApply nozzle body, but then we're going to move and transition over to more of a See and Spray ultimate type nozzle body. There are some differences, we'll point those out along the way here, but first things first, let's go ahead and walk through the anatomy of a standard ExactApply nozzle body. So, starting off, you can see here we've got our product flow coming from our supply line on our boom. This is where your half clamp would clamp down on the solution plumbing, and it provides solution flow, to both ports. So you've got an A and a B, right? So if we look at this, we'll be looking at this from the back of the sprayer. This side would be A, and this side would be B, right? So if we take a look at the inside of this, you can see there's an imprint in the casting or the molding of the plastic here that says A on that side and B on this side if you ever forget. So nice feature there. So if we move on here, just to start to dive into the anatomy of the nozzle body, we've got a couple of retaining clips here that hold these solenoids on, right? So we would call this whole thing a nozzle body or a nozzle turret. I think Parts calls it a nozzle holder. So if you're looking for specific parts, they may call it a nozzle holder, but we're going to take off the solenoid here from the side. So that just pops off the side there. We've got a solenoid. That's what causes our system to actually pulse, right? It makes those poppet valves move inside the stem. So if I pull this piece out, just friction fit in the side. This is your solution poppet valve assembly, is what I would call that there. And that's the whole piece here. There's a couple different components in this that actually makes solution flow to the nozzle from supply lines, right? So if we take a look at this, we've got a cap on the top here. We've got our plastic cap. We can unscrew that, and your ExactApply sprayer should come with an ExactApply maintenance kit that has tools to put these caps on and to take them off. And you've got a whole little holder you can put the stem in as well in that kit. If you don't have that holder in that kit, notice the back side of your solenoid here. You've got that little key slot or the molding in the casting, so that actually you can set your solenoid valve in that and it will hold it when you try to take it apart, right? So we can go ahead and use that to hold that stem as we screw and unscrew the cap. So if we take that cap off though, we'll go ahead and lay that to the side there. We've got a couple pieces inside this stem, so don't take this apart in the field. Highly recommend just having a couple of extras on hand, right? So you can see part number there. But get a full valve assembly here and maybe just swap it out if you had problems in the field. So the reason being is we've got some little tiny pieces in here. So we've got a poppet valve, right? So that's your little valve that moves back and forth, and you've got a spring, right? So just a spring similar to what you'd see in like a pen, a ballpoint pen or something to that effect. But if you take that apart in the field, there's a good chance that that goes flying and you lose that piece. So you need a whole new stem anyways. But highly recommend just slapping a new one in and then getting back to spraying. Take this back to the shop with you, wherever you can clean it with soapy water potentially, maybe some Dawn dish soap, some warm water. Clean that up. You should have a little bristle brush inside that ExactApply maintenance kit as well that you can clean out the little passageways on this valve assembly here. So as we take a look at the nozzle body again here, we'll lay the valve assembly to the side. We've got the turret right on the bottom half. This is where your nozzles are actually attached to your nozzle body or nozzle holder. So you've got short stems, right? Notice how we've got a short stem here. We've got a tall stem here, right? So 1, 2, and 3. So 1, 2, and 3 are going to be short stems. 4, 5, and 6 stems are going to be tall stems, and you can see they're molded in the bottom as well here. So you can see we've got solution flow coming from our supply to both the front. So this would be the front, and this would be the back here, right? In this position, you have to have a tall stem in the rear position to get solution flow to the front and the back. So a good thing to note there. If we were to rotate this turret around to where a tall stem is in the front, right? Just like that, you would have solution flow coming out of just the front, but both supply lines, right? So you have both A and B solenoids supplying solution flow to the front with a tall stem in the front. So good for high flow applications where you're using like a high flow nozzle, maybe doing some pre-plant application or some fertilizer application, something to that effect there. Most of the time, so we get greater capability and more flexibility with the types of nozzles that we're going to use while we're driving through the field, is we're going to run with a short stem in the front and a tall stem in the rear. Okay. And then the bottom of your turret, you'll notice we've got an LED light. Right? So that LED light serves a couple different purposes for us. One of the purposes being being able to see your spray patterns in low light conditions, right? So it gives you a good visual of how that spray is coming out of each nozzle when you're spraying through the field, as well as it serves as a good diagnostic tool as well, right? So if we go into the display in the machine and we actually manually turn on our turret lighting, we can do some basic diagnostics with these nozzle bodies. If you're not getting CAN communication, or you're not getting power or ground to one of these nozzle bodies, that light will help you identify that, that bad turret. So something to keep in mind there for ease of use and for just logistics of doing diagnostics on your sprayer. So, okay, that is the basics of your standard ExactApply nozzle body. I'll put the valve stem back in, solenoid goes back, just slips over that. Make sure that you line up your electrical components there as well, your connector, and then you take your retaining clip and we can pop that back in. You can see 2 slots, 2 holes there. You can just push that in until it pops in place right there, and then off you go.